Hello! Welcome back to Killer Score, the podcast that covers cult classic movies with killer soundtracks and scores that we think deserve more attention. And we are finally, much later than we should be, but stuff popped up, covering the very end of our anime theme month.
Annie June again.
Yeah, I was gonna put that on the Patreon as opposed to calling it Annie June.
Oh yeah, that's what we had done way back in my Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust episode.
Yeah, but that was like the first week of June. We're into getting
The middle of June.
We're basically in the middle of June at this point.
Second week. But
yeah.
speaking
it'll be halfway through the second week by the time this goes on YouTube.
Yeah. As of the day we are filming, however, it's my birthday!
Woo!
Yeah.
And that means I'm gonna be even more annoyingly nerdy than usual. Because for the end of anime/Annie June, I, Richie Eckert, have the movie ball this time, and I'm going to use that as an excuse for me and Daulton here to take Erin on a journey through one of the West's more successful anime. That's right, today we are covering the feature-length entry into Yasuhiro Nightow's Trigun, Badlands Rumble.
Yeah, so I got into Trigun, I want to say back around late middle school, early high school. I read the, through libraries and such, I read collected stuff. I read, like, all the original Trigun and most of Maximum. I've seen an episode here or there of the anime, but I'm mostly familiar with it through the manga, and I would consider myself, a decent fan of it. It's not my favorite franchise, but I do enjoy Trigun.
I was introduced to this anime first and started reading the manga after just to see what bases weren't covered. In some ways, I like the original anime series better, but the franchise as a whole is one near and dear to my heart for many reasons I will get into, but this has been a long time coming. Ever since anime became a thing, I knew this was on my back catalog of things. Maybe next year will be the time that we cover something a bit less high quality and more baffling, but it's my birthday, and I want to nerd out about possibly my favorite manga anime franchise ever with my dear buddies and give Erin a little taste of it because she is less familiar.
Yeah, I've only seen, like, stills from Trigun, and I'm familiar with the name. I know absolutely nothing about it.
Alright. So, quick primer on the franchise as a whole before we get into the trivia for this movie. As alluded to earlier, Trigun is an action, space western, weird western manga created by Yasuhiro Nightow, famous for both this and for the criminally underrated Gungrave games. Check those out or get them emulated or something if you want fun third-person anime western stuff. It's a fun game, and it's got Kirk Thornton being a total badass as the main character. Manga itself, Trigun, was birthed from Naitow's love for American Western movies and his desire to make his own sci-fi flavored tribute to said Westerns. And the fingerprints of those movies are all over Trigun. From the fact that the currency is called double dollars to the fact that towns are named after American states. I think one of the towns in the middle of the arc is New Oregon.
Okay, then.
But premise is a simple one. It's set in the distant, dusty future on a planet known as Gunsmoke, or No Man's Land, depending. And the one that everyone is after, all the bounty hunters are after in this cruel new world, is a man called Vash the Stampede. How big is that bounty? $60 billion double dollars.
Jesus.
So, who is this dreaded outlaw? This man who lays waste to everything, this humanoid typhoon. He's a pacifistic goofball who loves donuts.
Yeah, part of the fun of Trigun is figuring out why exactly Vash has such a huge bounty when we see and meet the character. He's just, like, not at all what you would expect.
Oh yeah, totally baffling to everyone, including in and out of universe, because he attracts a lot of interesting characters, from a pair of insurance agents sent to see where his disasters come from, and a priest who we will talk more about post-screening of this particular movie. But enough about rambling, because I could go on and on about how much I love the characters and the world. But I feel like we gotta save that for post-screening stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of, the movie. Shortly after the end of the initial anime, it was announced that there was going to be a movie based on Trigun, and it went through a lot of rewrites and a lot of time in the oven before being eventually put out into the world by Madhouse, legends that they are.
Nice.
And for the longest time, it was simply... Yeah, it went through concept after concept to the point where it was first announced as a movie called Vash vs. Wolfwood.
Huh.
Which, you know, it's strange given the manga, but that's beside the point. As alluded to before, the animation was done by Madhouse, who did part of the original series, and had different studios working on it.
Oh, okay.
And much like the series itself, it had a returning composer in the form of Tsuneo Imahori. He was originally a guitarist for another big icon of anime music, the Seatbelts.
Oh, yeah.
It's Yoko Kanno's band that did
Oh, wow.
Cowboy Bebop.
Mm-hmm.
And you can kind of hear that sort of Americana influence in his music, but one thing that sets him apart from his contemporaries, and especially Yoko Kanno, is that where Yoko Kanno has really broad influences that loop around to jazz most of the time, or jazz and orchestral stuff, his is very much on the rock and blues type sound. And I read once somewhere that a lot of the score work for the Trigun anime series was done with a mix of, typical instruments like guitars and stuff, but also with household objects. Like, there's a lot of pots and pan percussion and a lot of washboard.
Huh.
Woo!
Needs more cowbell.
Yeah.
I got a fever, and the only cure is more washboard.
Bring in the jug band.
Yeah, it's like, kind of, imagine if ZZ Top and a jug band had a baby, and you have the sonic identity of Trigun.
Okay, then.
It took influence from, like, early blues, like electric blues, where a lot of the instruments were improvised, kind of ramshackle.
Oh, okay.
which fits because Trigun is a post-apocalypse story about people living on the very edges of civilization. And that's civilization with big quote marks.
Yeah. I don't know how much to put on for this so far yet, you know? I'm just like, yeah, here we are.
Yeah, here we are. You'll soon see, Erin, that Gunsmoke is not a friendly place to live, especially not in this movie. But getting back to that movie, after the end of the series, Madhouse, and specifically its founder, Masao Maruyama, said, we have plans for something within the canon of the show and or the manga. Stories differ on where this movie is placed in the greater canon of the show, but one thing is for sure, it is, timeline-wise, it is after Vash meets series mainstay Nicholas D. Wolfwood, but before villains that I will not spoil for you come into the story.
Right, because I'm guessing this is one of those numerous non-canon anime films that exist.
Yeah, basically. One of those semi-canon, if you take the word of production staff sort of things.
Yeah, kind of like some of the Dragon Ball movies.
I was gonna say Dragon Ball movies.
Oh yeah, like a lot of the Dragon Ball movies and a few of the Pokemon movies.
Yeah, and even like, I think it wasn't until like, I want to say, because I'm not like the expert on the franchise, I don't think it was until like the 8th One Piece movie that they were actually like canon.
Yeah, don't quote us on that.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of One Piece knowledge between the three of us.
Yeah,
No.
and I know like that wasn't, and from what I think, I believe like most of the early One Piece movies are just like like combinations of certain arcs in movie form.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What's weird to me though is that this movie premiered in America not in the English dub like one would expect, considering Trigun was way more successful in the West than in Japan, but at SakuraCon in Seattle 2010, where they had just screened the subtitled version.
Right.
And essentially they had set up a little Q&A panel before and after explaining who the incidental characters were for the movie and why they had to release it this way and where it fits into the canon, or, well, really doesn't. And it's because of its origins as a festival/convention piece that everyone disagrees on whether or not this movie is canon. But as a primer to the Trigun franchise, it's not a bad one. I will say that those looking for something that's more in line with the later character piece heavy end of the series do not watch this movie, because it's very much set in the early mid part of the series where things were way lighter and more obtuse.
So, to put this in perspective, dear viewers, this is kind of like when we showed you Doctor Who, Richie.
Exactly like when you guys showed me Doctor Who.
Yeah, because like there's elements of the TV movie that have been canonized, but stuff that is non-canonical.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the most canonical timeline of Doctor Who for the 8th is the TV movie, the audio dramas, and the Night of the Doctor special. Because like people were asking the BBC like, okay, what's like the most canon for the 8th Doctor? And they were like, it's the Big Finish audios. We consider them the canon and not the books.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, this movie is a episodic little installment in Trigun, more in line with the early episodes where Vash was facing a lot more villains of the week.
Yeah.
And it specifically involves our beloved humanoid typhoon going to a floating city full of merchants where a bunch of bounty hunters have gathered to seek out the price on both his head and on the head of a notorious bank robber named Gasback.
Alrighty. So I
That's
guess
the
we'll
name.
get
That's the
into
name.
it.
Yep. We'll get into it and see what Erin thinks of her first little taste of Trigun.
Sounds good.
Yep.
And we are back after screening Trigun Badlands Rumble with music by Tsuneo Imahori and animation by Madhouse. Been a while since I had seen this movie. It was in late high school because I was riding high on Trigun fever at the time, watching everything, reading everything, and this is something I'd call one of the better high-budget episode categories of anime movies. It's not perfect. There are things that kind of take away a bit, like flanderizing certain aspects of Vash's personality and the fact that it is one of the it's on one of the wackier ends of Trigun before things really pick up, but it's got some great action scenes. The soundtrack kicks ass.
I do really enjoy the soundtrack.
So did I.
Yeah.
And I just love seeing Trigun get the higher budget Madhouse treatment, because Madhouse always does awesome they always deliver with action, especially between this and Redline. If you're a fan of like technology porn in sci-fi,
there's a reason a lot of people stopped watching One Punch Man after season 1, and that's because Madhouse was no longer handling it.
yeah.
Didn't they also do the Promised Neverland season 1, or was that Notamina?
I think it might have been Madhouse, but it wasn't Madhouse. It was I want to say Bones.
Bones.
Oh wait, no. That's right, because I was like, oh, this isn't gonna be good when I saw the studio that it was Poirot.
Okay.
Piero
Yeah, Studio Pierrot, the one that does Naruto.
and Black Clover.
Yeah, and they're such like a big shonen thing that I was like, I don't know if they can handle
Hit or
something.
miss.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of. I think they suck, to be honest.
Like, I don't love them, I don't hate them, but yeah, decent enough. I like going back into this. Although, again, there are some things we're going to talk about that but Daulton.
Oh yeah, and I also wanted to say, since we didn't do our usual intro, I'm of course your host Daulton. You can find me online at Sick Jacket Man on most social media handles. I also have an Instagram that I'll give Richie the information for if you guys want to follow me on there, where I also have been posting pretty frequently now. And yeah.
I'm Erin Murray. You can find me witchandcraftsnj.com. Instagram is witchandcrafts.nj. And yeah, I am trying not to die of consumption.
Hocus pocus, you now have late stage tuberculosis.
Try and cut that out. Anyway, Richard Eckert, Richie's Rad Voices, technical producer for the show, responsible for all the amateur effects that you see on the audio and on the video versions, and voice actor. Stay tuned for a comic dub compilation from me and my good friend Ray Harrell. Her voice demo's up on her Twitter, edited by me. Go ahead and check all those out. They're sure to be up on my own channel, and the links in the doobly-doo once this episode is out. So, impressions on the movie?
It strikes me as your typical anime TV movie. and I don't mean that in exactly the most flattering way. I kind of thought it was...
It's flawed.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty boring for the most part. The score was great. The characters just felt kind of a little...
Obnoxious?
Well, they also just felt kind of off from how they usually feel. From what I've... Like, something just feels generally off. Like, I know Wolfwood's a man of his word, but him working for the villain just feels incredibly out of character.
Yeah, even if it was to set up a sting like the ending kind of implies, it wasn't established well.
No. And this strikes me as one of like that this has the biggest sin for me of anime film movies, which is like thinking A, we need to make an original character for this that's never going to come back again. B, we need to focus on that original character that's never going to come back.
Yeah. Granted, she's not the worst kind of character. Colleen Clinkenbeard does a good job with her and stuff like that. Good villain, though. I thought he was cool.
Yeah, like I said, it reminds me of one of, like, honestly, like, the mid-tier Dragon Ball Z movies. Something like, what's a mid-tier? Like Triumite or something like that.
Cooler?
Or Cooler, where it's like, it's okay. Not Cooler's Revenge, that movie blows.
Return of Cooler?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Return of Cooler, that one.
Which one? The metal one?
The one with the big Getty star.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's bad. It's not one of the better DBZ movies. I think, like, Lord Slug's probably one of the better ones.
Yeah.
Along with, like, the first couple ones are pretty dang good, too. Triumite's actually, like, a mid-tier one. Best ones are probably, like, honestly, the newest ones.
I could think of quite a many anime movies that are worse than those, namely the Naruto ones.
And some of the other Dragon Ball ones.
Oh, God.
The less said about Bio Broly. Or the BoJack
Why must
movie.
you do this to me on my birthday, Daulton?
At least the BoJack movie had a somewhat interesting villain. Somewhat.
Fountain of memes, too, thanks to a certain Netflix show that came out. Erin.
I'm sorry, Richie. I did not like this movie.
It's okay.
I'm sorry. Like, I know you had been hyping this up for months. I feel bad saying it. It's just, like, the soundtrack was good. That's all I can really give it.
Yeah. Hey, Daulton didn't like Moulin Rouge. We're not all gonna...
agree on movies.
Did you at least like Wolfwood's cross-gun thing?
I thought that was cool. The character seemed really obnoxious. It had that tinge of late 90s TV misogyny going on.
Yeah. Hey, look, we're a chorus.
The disappointment chorus.
Like I said, the main problem with this movie is that it's based on early arcs of the manga and the anime.
Yeah.
When things weren't as heavy. Because there's a darkness to Vash's character.
And Trigun
in Trigun. And Trigun in general, when you learn more about the world and about why the disasters happen the way they do. But again, you're not going to get into much more than a glimpse of the darkness in Vash.
You know what this was like?
In this movie.
You know what this was like? This was like a less fun version of the Power Rangers movie.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Because, like, that was a TV show, like, big budget movie episode we covered, but, like, that was fun. But that was fun. You've got, like, a fun villain. Like, Ivan Ooze is a very fun villain.
Yeah. The villain in this just seems like, haha, look at me, I'm a villain.
Yeah.
Look at me, I'm the big bad Western bank robber type who
wants to screw over everybody.
And I do it for sport, and it's like, John Swayze, I love you. You're a great voice actor. You're kicking ass, but this guy is just kind of thin.
I just had the most shocking realization in my head.
What?
Yeah.
This movie's plot is done better by yet another animated Western movie. This movie's plot is just fucking Rango.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although I
even
guess
a water heist. There's even a
The
water
wa-
heist.
or a power heist.
Yeah, but still.
Even connect the water to the power.
Yeah.
Although one could make the argument that Vash was Rango before Rango.
Yeah, true.
I mean, go watch Rango, by the way. It's a
I've
fun
seen
movie.
Rango.
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
seen it
Yeah.
twice.
Yeah,
We-
Rango's good. Go watch Rango.
Yeah, go
Like,
watch Rango.
we can't cover it on the podcast because we
all
watched
seen
it
it,
outside of it. But go watch Rango. It's a nice, surreal, animated Western.
Yeah, more and more when it comes to Western animation studios, DreamWorks has become one of my favorites.
Well, that was Paramount. That
was that really?
That wasn't
it
DreamWorks.
Wasn't that a Nickelodeon Studios movie?
Yes, yes, it
actually?
was.
Yeah, yeah.
Weird that they made a psychedelic acid Western.
I mean, have you seen the early Nickelodeon shows? They're fucking weird, man.
Ren and Stimpy,
Ah.
Cat Dog, Real Monsters.
But yeah, back to the movie. I'm trying to find nice things to say. I apologize. I mean, the animation was good.
Yeah.
The
Action
soundtrack's fantastic. However, the characters are very flat. I did not particularly care for any of them. Like, even Amelia was just like, here's my backstory. And I'm like, good for you.
And she just has movie original anime
OC.
character written over her.
Also, yeah,
It feels like a D&D character.
a little bit. Yeah, because oh my god,
It feels like she feels like a tabletop character of like, this is how my backstory works into the plot of the campaign, and now everything's about me.
Yeah, she is, like I said, she is the Turles of Trigun, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it. This movie should have just been about Vash.
Yeah,
It should have cut Amelia out entirely. It should have had Vash. They should have dialed more into it. Trigun is more or less a complicated morality tale on the philosophical implications of pacifism.
Yeah.
Because in the show,
And it doesn't factor well into this movie.
it doesn't.
No,
It's
it
like
doesn't.
Amelia. Here's the main problem with Amelia.
Yeah, well, in my opinion, it feels like the movie was trying to lean into like the slapstick comedy angle of Trigun, and then realized, oh shit, we have to make this about the core message of Trigun.
Of the series.
Fill it in the last quarter of the movie.
Yeah, because when it comes to like the perils of pacifism, Full Metal Alchemist does it so much better.
Show
Avatar? Avatar does it better.
Avatar,
Kenshin?
Yeah, Kenshin does it better.
like I can think of so many better examples than this movie.
I would like to say, just because I said Kenshin does it better, it does not mean I am saying you should go out and support or purchase anything related to Rurouni Kenshin.
Pirate Bay.
Pirate it. Only check out the original series stuff. Don't even bother with the animes. The anime adaptations of...
Yeah.
They're really bad.
Yeah.
You can just find PDFs online. It's pretty easy.
You know what? I think it's literally available through the Shonen Jump app, and you don't even have to pay for it.
Thank God.
Just go on the Shonen Jump app. It's like $2-3 a month.
$3.
Yeah, it's like $3 a month now. Just go read Kenshin on that. It's really good.
Or
That's cheaper than my morning cup of coffee.
Yeah.
or just read the Trigun and or Maximum manga. Dark Horse still sells them.
Yeah, I don't know if they're still in print or not. I think they might be out of print, and they had to reprint them, what I heard.
Huh.
Yeah, they're working on reprinting them. It's one of those manga where it's in dubious printing thing, like Yu Yu Hakusho.
Yeah, that's the problem with putting in an original character. You want to know what the main problem with Amelia is? Honestly, it's like
She's there to be gawked at and then to have a tragic backstory.
that is a big problem. I'm not gonna deny, but there's another one.
What?
It's like
She
here,
feels forced.
forced. We do not need her, and here's why. I have a point, I promise. Hey, here's this character who is a moral foil to Vash, a stone killer who believes that pacifism is naive. it's not like we have another character who has filled that role in the series.
It's not like we have several other characters like that.
The Insurance Girls, Wolfwood, well, more so Wolfwood because he's like...
He's the Sasuke.
He's the Sasuke to Vash's Naruto.
He's the Sasuke, he's the Vegeta, he's the Hiei.
You know what, Erin? I'm going to apologize to you, honestly. I'm so sorry this was the jumping on point. I'm just going to watch the show with you one day.
Okay.
Or just check out the new series. I hear it's really good.
Yeah,
Okay.
Stampede. From what I can tell of it, it leans more into the serious stuff and takes a lot of the comedy elements out.
Tones it down.
Yeah, because the comedy just didn't work for me either. It just seemed too goofy and over the top for a movie that was trying to take itself seriously, but also trying to be goofy and over the top at the same time.
Also,
They also didn't include Vash's signature catchphrase.
oh my god, they didn't. I'd like to take a stab at a reenactment, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
Like, this world is made of love and peace!
Yeah, because he
does the...
Like, in the show and the manga, he's much better at playing the goofball dipshit. That to the point when you read the manga, you're like, there's no way that this fucker can be, like, a killing machine and just, like, a walking disaster area. And it's like, oh, he is.
Yeah. Here's the thing, too. It's slow-paced. I'm gonna warn you, Erin. But in the show, you want to know how many episodes it roughly takes before he really uses his gun?
Are we talking, like, it only takes a couple episodes, or are we talking anime filler length?
I wouldn't say anime filler
Was
length.
it like 10 episodes?
10, yes.
Okay.
Because that's the point, though. It's
So I was
like...
expecting you to say, like, 16.
No, 10. So, it's like, when he has that first big gunfight in the show, it's like all of the anticipation and tension was being let out in 6 bullets.
Yeah, and, like, I don't know what they were going for at this movie because, like, the movie doesn't convey why Vash is known as the human typhoon, which I thought was kind of weird.
Yeah.
Like,
Humanoid typhoon.
Yeah.
it's like, in the show, all the disasters are weaved into his journeys, and you get the sense that there's something going on between all him and all the stuff that's going on. Here, it's just like, here's a bank robbery that Vash just so happened to stumble into.
Yeah, because in the show, like, this isn't even spoilers because this is outright told early on. He blew a hole in the moon.
I'm sorry?
Yeah.
You heard him.
What the fuck?
Yeah, that's how powerful Vash actually is.
Yeah.
Okay.
You got glimpses of that, though, with his reflexes, because the dude is
The
untouchable.
bullets thing,
Yeah. Because, like, do you care for spoilers?
No.
I don't
Okay,
give a
so,
shit.
like,
it's
he's
not
a-
canon, people.
Yeah, he's a genetically engineered experiment from the past that was essentially, like, raised in, like, to be a super soldier, essentially.
Okay.
A super soldier and... You know what, I'm going to put a spoiler marker for this brief little moment. I'll do it in post. But a super soldier and a power source.
Like a human bat.
A human...
Oh, okay.
He is actually called a plant.
Okay.
A
Yeah.
power plant, not...
Yeah, I figured you meant power plant and not, like, a bush.
Although his hair would throw you off otherwise.
Yeah, and the other reason he's the humanoid typhoon is because he just has the worst fucking luck ever. And
oh my god.
everywhere he goes basically tends to turn into rubble, even if it's not his fault. But because he's such a distinctive individual, people will be like, yeah, Vash did that.
That's the whole tragedy of him. He's a pacifistic cowboy who just wants peace and love and friendship, but it slips out of his hand because of the type of world he's in.
Okay, that's more interesting.
Yeah.
And the show does that better because when they did comedy, it was better timed, and it didn't cling to the rest of the narrative like an inoperable cancer.
Yeah, he's not one of those shonen protagonists that's always like roaring for a fight.
Yeah.
He actively avoids them.
Okay.
Yeah, he's not a Goku or Naruto or something. He actively, or an Ichigo. He's like, hey, why do we have to fight?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, best summed up all right, I guess, by the one quote he has in the movie. I just thought it would be better if everyone lived.
Yeah, it's like this movie kind of doesn't get give the character justice, in my opinion, and it dials up a lot of his noise
at all.
Oh my god, you know what it actually is like?
What?
It's like that weird, not good Yu Yu Hakusho movie.
Poltergeist Report.
Yeah, that movie is just garbage.
And by the way, Erin, yes, that movie is literally called Poltergeist Report the movie.
Which
Poltergeist
is what
Report.
the literal translation of Yu Yu Hakusho is. So it's called. So the movie's title is basically Poltergeist Report.
Poltergeist Report.
It's not great.
It's like saying ATM machine.
Yeah.
ATM machine. Automatic teller machine.
Yeah, essentially.
Yeah. Or PAC Center. Performing Arts Center.
Yeah. It's not a great movie. There's a lot of not great anime movies of TV shows.
There are worse not great movies.
Yeah. Like
there are way worse.
Bio Broly.
I'm going to be painfully honest and say most late-stage Pokemon movies.
Yeah. The, basically every Naruto movie. I'm sorry, Naruto fans, but they all are bad.
Bleach.
Oh, God, Bleach did have movies.
One Piece.
Richie, what are you doing? Those are actually generally regarded as at least pretty good.
What, the movies?
Yeah.
Retracting. Forget Beam!
You know, he was like worried about Marvel stands coming after us from our thing. I'm much more worried of One Piece fans.
Feed me your views!
Please don't dox me. Do not come to my house. Do not try to beat me. I think One Piece is fine. I haven't checked it out yet. I mean to.
I think it's okay.
Yeah, I mean to check it out. It looks pretty cool. Luffy's a fun guy. I like him. He's a wacky
I like
dude.
Zoro. I like Zoro. He's cool too.
Yeah, of course you would. You're just like him. You guys get lost super easily.
Ow. That hurt me.
Okay, he has the best running. Zoro has the best running gag, though.
He cannot follow a straight line, Erin.
You know the characters that like always show up to do the heroic nick of time save?
He comes out like 20
Zoro.
minutes later.
Yes, Zoro is one of those, but it's not out of design. It's just that he's that bad with directions that he shows up to fights late all the time.
This man gets lost in closed spaces when there are doors in front of him.
The creator made a diagram of how like the characters progress to things, and it's like Nami and Sanji, a straight line. Luffy, straight lines with little breaks because he pauses and stops for stuff. Zoro, squiggly line.
You know what? I'm gonna pull it up in the video version, and I'm gonna show Erin the diagram.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, there's the Yeah, there's there's Zoro.
Okay then.
Zoro.
I was about to say, do not open a video over the mic.
No.
It's an image.
Yeah. That
It's an image.
That image. Yeah.
We're fine.
And that was literally the creator doing.
Anyway,
Oda. That's it.
vain attempts at positivity time. I like the action scenes. I thought there were some that were better than the show proper, in my opinion, because there was a bit more motion and not speed line stuff.
Yeah, it's
and
budget, you know.
Budget. I do like Gasback's mechanical arm. I like all the weaponry that's going in. And if you want Punisher fights with Wolfwood doing his whole shoulder-mounted cross machine gun thing, I won't say watch the movie. I'll just say find a clip or something and
Find
watch
it on
that.
YouTube.
Yeah.
Uh,
I know I keep going back to those movies, but man, like, why did they make Cooler's new form just a generic chrome cooler when like his upgraded version of
It's
the
so much cooler
with the faceplate?
yeah, he looks like a really angry bearded dragon.
Straight up, I think the armored cooler, as he's referred to, is like, I think he looks cooler than Final Form Frieza does.
He looks cooler.
Yeah.
You know when you said bearded dragon, for a second I forgot what a bearded dragon looked like, so I just imagined a lizard with a beard.
Yeah. Or Drampa from Pokemon games, the Grandpa Dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? If these guys get a tangent, then so do I.
Okay,
it's
yeah,
my
go
birthday,
ahead. Yeah, it's
so
your birthday.
I know how we talk. We were talking about Power Rangers,
Yeah.
and I did a text rant to you
Yeah.
before, but it's time for Richie to get something off his chest before we get back to the movie. It's time for him to bitch about Fitz and the tantrums. How did they go so downhill? Like, it is so baffling. You had said something about like the whole Chicago downward spiral, but it's even more abrupt than that. I know you like Out of My League. That's a decent song, Erin.
Yeah.
But hand clap. Do you want to?
Terrible.
Hand clap sucks. And you want to know what the baffling thing is? They used to be a full orchestra, Erin. They had a horn section.
Oh.
They used to do Motown style stuff. Have you never heard the song Money Grabber?
No.
You know what's a confusing
I
thing
can't
to
show
me?
you for obvious reasons. But
Just DM it to me.
I'll DM it to you later. But
Speaking of music, you know what's a confusing thing to me?
what?
I've seen so many school events and been in schools and just like seen things where they play Centerfold by the Jay Giles Band, and
Oh
I'm
my
like,
God.
this is not at all appropriate.
It isn't. It's obviously.
Yeah. What do you think the title Centerfold means?
Okay, but back to hand clap. Number one, that was on their self-titled album. How do you self-title an album and say, hey, this is our definitive sound? It sounds like watered-down neo-soul Maroon 5. And also, I'm sorry, I'm on a tangent because I'm high energy right now. Their album cover for the 2016 All the Feels album, that's the name of the album, by the way, All the Feels. Oh, it gets worse. Their album cover looks like absolute shit. Are you ready?
What is it? Is it up there with like Certified Lover Boys cover?
Yeah.
Oh.
Get ready.
Or Red Pill Blues' cover?
Oh, it gets... it's worse in my opinion. You ready?
All right, yeah, let's go.
Look at this.
Oh.
It looks...
my eyes are bleeding.
It looks automated.
No,
I don't like that.
I hate it.
It does.
I hate it.
It looks like an AI made it. It looks...
It does look AI generated.
It's pretty bad that I think it would literally be better to make a Magic Eye poster for the cover of your album than to do that.
It's awful. Also, speaking of things I love disappointing me, back to the movie.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, speaking of Magic Eye posters, did any of you ever get those to work? I've never been able to get a Magic Eye poster to work for me. People are like, it's a spaceship. And I'm like, you're fucking with me.
See,
that's bullshit.
See, this is what Daulton does since we don't have sponsorship readings to do. Please donate to our Patreon and Ko-fi to stop Daulton from going on even weirder tangents than me.
Unless you're a Magic Eye poster company, fuck you.
Trigun Badlands Rumble. That's
what we had to look at in doctors' offices before our cell phones had apps on them. We had to stare at a fucking Magic Eye poster and then be like, is it a fish? Like, what the fuck am I supposed to get from you?
Erin, is this like a nightly occurrence for him to go on these sorts of tangents?
Not to this intensity, no.
Anyway, let's talk about the school.
Fuck them. The score.
The score. Let's talk about that, because Erin, you did.
I did enjoy the score. I like how it fused like early.
It's eclectic.
It's eclectic. That's the best way to put it, because it fuses early jazz with Spanish guitars. Not early jazz. Early blues with Spanish guitars. I would say a little bit of jazz thrown
Southern
in there.
rock.
Southern rock, definitely. At one point, I was like, "This is ZZ Top."
Calypso music at one point.
They have a similar soundtrack for the show because Imahori also did the soundtrack for the show. And you can tell it was composed by a Seatbelts member.
Yeah.
The guy clearly has an ear for Americana. You know what it kind of reminds me of now that I think about it? You had said blues, jazz, calypso, Latin.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what this is?
What?
This is an anime as if it were composed by Carlos Santana.
Kinda?
Yeah, because he
Yeah.
does the whole Latin jazz rock thing with heavier bluesier elements.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, on one hand you had Oye Como Va, which was him doing that slow Latin jazz thing. On the other hand, you have Black Magic Woman.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which, heavier, bluesier, crunchier guitars. I'm sorry, I just love Santana. I love Carlos Santana.
That's fair. That's
One
fair.
of the best living guitarists.
Oh yeah, no.
Oh, I completely agree.
Yeah, no denying that.
But yeah, real atmospheric. Composer, Tsuneo knows how to make things bouncier.
Just check out the score from this if you're gonna check out anything from this. To be honest.
Or hell, listen to the first Donuts album from Trigun.
Yeah.
That's what it's called, by the way, First Donuts.
Mhm.
Because Vash
Yeah, donuts.
loves donuts.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, every shonen anime protagonist has to have their favorite food. Unless it's Goku, then your favorite food is everything. Except for grape. He doesn't like grapes.
Weird.
Yeah.
Oddly specific. Naruto had ramen, miso, specifically.
What did Ichigo have?
Don't quote me on this, Bleach fans, but mochi?
I think it might have been, yeah.
I thought it was one of those, like, sweeter stuff to kind of act as a subversion to the rough, cool anime protagonist thing.
I'm pretty sure they brought stuff up for, like, Kenshin and Yusuke. I can't remember what they are, though.
Gon from Hunter x Hunter, I think, had fish.
Yeah. Oh, I do remember, Midoriya's, Deku's, actually.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
It's, beef bowl.
Nice.
Yeah. Good choice.
Good choice. But yeah, tried to do for you what you did with me and Doctor Who. Failed, obviously, but I'm glad you like the soundtrack, Erin.
I mean, the soundtrack was really good.
Yeah, soundtracks.
They should have had, like I said, they should have cut Amelia out entirely.
Yeah, because...
I think it's meat for Luffy.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's definitely meat.
Yeah, because the character of Amelia, I didn't like. As I said, she feels like a D&D character. The way that everyone reacts to having Amelia around
It's
just even worse. It's either to drop everything and be like, this girl's hot, or or in Vash's case, just be like, I'm going to subvert her expectations by constantly hitting on this girl who's barely legal.
Also, I need to rant about the way this movie characterizes Vash, because I'm not a fan of how they dialed up the chivalrous lech part of him. Because that's not his defining trait. The guy is aromantic by choice and only flirts as a distraction from his identity. He wasn't frickin' grape juice from, or whatever his name is, from, Hiroaka.
Yeah,
he wasn't a sexual predator adjacent.
Yeah.
Also, something I didn't want to say, Erin, because I didn't want this movie ruining Vash's characterization for you, is you said 30s for Vash?
He's at least 40.
Older.
Oh, that's even worse.
Remember.
She's 19.
Remember. Vash.
He's like in his 50s.
Yeah, Vash is fit. Vash isn't human, so yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah. This movie was a mistake. I am sorry.
This movie was a huge mistake. I apologize for saying that.
No, it's okay.
It's just like it feels so gross.
Again, they slaughtered my boy. Do you think I'm not hurting right now, Erin? I love this character. How do you think I feel?
Pretty disappointed.
Yeah. My fond high school memories, I'll admit, I think the animation and the music kind of... Yeah, nostalgia goggles again.
Nostalgia goggles. I mean, I've had nostalgia goggle movies on here before. I mean, look at my pick for last year, 5 cents per second.
Yeah.
Which didn't really do much.
You know what?
It just kind of meandered for an hour and a half.
How about I make this up to you one day? And just, well, we could just binge the series one day. All three of us. One day.
It's a good show.
How many episodes? Because this is going to be one day or a week?
A week, probably.
Okay.
It's 26 episodes.
Oh, okay.
It's a short show.
Oh,
Shorter.
okay. I was expecting you to say something like,
Even the
yeah.
manga is really short.
Okay.
It's
I'm glad
concise.
it's not Dragon Ball or One Piece. Like,
No.
It has some of the best villains in any manga ever, in my opinion.
That's fair, yeah. I can see that.
Legato.
Light and potato chips.
oh,
Yeah.
Oh. What?
And Alan's Strawberry Shortcake.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, and Ryuk and apples.
Yeah.
Duh.
Yeah.
We're just naming Death Note characters and foods at this point.
I mean, I like anime. I don't know why, but I love it when characters have canonical favorite foods. It's good world building.
Oh, yeah. It's good characterization. Oh, I got one. I got one.
One of the most famous ones. Doraemon and Dorayaki.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I got another. Iggy from JoJo
Uh-huh.
and coffee-flavored gum.
Oh, yeah. Pikachu and ketchup.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He literally will just drink
Ooh.
it.
I got another one.
What?
Brock and jelly donuts.
Yeah, of course, jelly donuts. I'm glad you corrected yourself.
Clearly, I'm. How culturally insensitive of me. I'm so sorry.
Oh yeah, Gintama, Gin and parfaits.
Yeah.
Gintoki and parfaits. Yeah.
Didn't Staz from Blood Lad like burgers or something?
Oh, I think burgers are actually the favorite food of Yugi.
Oh yeah.
From the manga, yeah, because he was really excited about that burger place opening.
And not a shonen, but in Ya Boy Kong Ming,
Yeah.
the producer and the pudding.
Oh yeah.
This producer who's obviously supposed to be like Steve Aoki
Yeah, he
and
likes
pudding.
this specific type of pudding.
Of pudding.
Oh, Kill la Kill. Ryoko and croquettes. Yeah, she loves croquettes.
Is it Ryuko?
Yeah, Ryoko.
Sorry.
Ryoko.
Tomato.
Yeah.
I'm gonna laugh if someone corrects us in the comments about that, just because it might be one of those things where it's like slight pronunciation difference is a completely different word.
Oh, hey, something Erin watched with me that she would know. Well, we didn't watch all of it, but Cornetto from Lucky Star and chocolate cornets.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Those are weird. I've never had one.
They're good.
Wait. Joseph Joestar and cola.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's a drink, but
Yeah, I mean, I would say it still counts.
Yeah.
I was right, by the way. Luffy as meat.
Yep. Oh yeah, he gets big giant slabs of it in the anime.
Oh, props to Zoro. It's white rice.
I mean, white rice is something that's both easy and hard to screw up at
And
the
it
same
goes
time.
with everything.
And it goes with everything.
Oh yeah, it does. The funny thing is, speaking of Zoro, I thought it was funny that you made the sense of direction comparison. Erin's like, "Rich, are you all right?" I'm like, "That was funny." Like, hey, it's not like I'm gonna disagree with him about that. I mean, sense of direction sucks, but shit's funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, wow. I hate my high school brain. God damn it. Did I just have terrible taste the whole time?
Can we just... Should we just wrap it up? I don't think we have much else to say,
Yeah.
to be
I
honest.
don't think we have much else to say.
Watch the old Trigun anime. Funimation's got the rights to it. I'm pretty sure it's on Crunchyroll as well.
We will be at Too Many
Yes.
Games from June 23rd to the 25th.
I want to clarify that we do not have a table like we did at Monster Mania, but we will be walking around
And having a good time.
having a good time. Do not hesitate to come up and say hello, though, because we like meeting friends and or fans if they're out there.
Absolutely.
So that was Annie June. Time for Erin to take the movie ball out of my hands and segue into what she has planned for us. Sorry. Love you, buddy.
So, my pick for the next... Oh, this thing's crooked. There we go. My pick for the next film we will cover on Killer Score is a movie that didn't do too well at the box office. I mean, it wasn't as good as some of the other movies by the same director. It recently had a Hulu spinoff. Sequel. And it stars...
Everyone.
Yeah, there's a ton of actors in this. It's Mel Brooks' History of the World Part 1.
Next time.
Next time on Killer Score.